Sorry.
So thank you for being here. We are in the presence of greatness here. We've got Susan Wetenkamp-Brandt talking about AI. You have chosen wisely. Take it away, Susan.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to AI in the ABE office. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon, and we're going to talk about a tool that I hope some of you can use to maybe make your work a little more efficient and save you some time on tasks that might be challenging for you, or that you may find yourself dreading doing, as we all have things in our jobs that we don't necessarily want to spend our time on. We'd rather be spending our time talking to students and supporting our students, and we don't always want to do things like proofreading. So there are tools that can help us do those things more efficiently, and we're going to be looking at one today, and hopefully you can find some ideas of ways that you can utilize it. So I am going to introduce myself. I am Susan Wetenkamp-Brandt. I am at Literacy Minnesota, and I have been there for 17 years now, and I've been working in our support network, working with adult educators around the state of Minnesota all that time. And in that role, I help folks in all aspects of adult education learn how to use technology to support their programming and support their students. So my email address is here on the slide, and I am always happy to take messages from folks if you have questions about technology that you want to use in your program. And yeah, please contact me. So today's agenda is we are going to be talking about Magic School AI. And you can see the URL is there on the screen, and it'll be in the chat for you a little bit later on when we get to the point where we want to do some hands-on. I have some ideas of examples, projects and prompts that you might want to use with a tool like Magic School. And we are going to get into it and look at some templates that it has that might be helpful in your role. And we'll do a little brainstorming about the kinds of things that you might be able to do with this tool. And then we're going to have some hands-on time. I'm going to give you all a chance to sign up for an account and go in there and take one of the ideas that we brainstormed and try it out and see if you can make it work. And then I do have some resources that we can look at for if you'd like to learn more. We only have 45 minutes today. And of course, that's not much time to really get into it and learn it deeply and think about it deeply. So resources where you can learn and explore more. And then definitely some time for questions and answers as well. Right. So with that, we're going to just give the sort of big picture overview of Magic School AI. What is it, and why did I choose this tool out of all the tools that are available to talk about when it comes to AI? So this is a generative AI tool, which means that it generates output based on a prompt that you, the user, provide. And generative AI comes in many forms. The one that many people are familiar with is going to be ChatGPT, and sort of the one that everybody's heard of and maybe has tried. But Magic School AI is unique in that it was developed by educators for educators. So it isn't a general purpose AI tool. It's an AI tool specifically for people who work in schools. And the thing with a generative AI is that it is trained on texts and images that are input into it to teach it what kind of output users are looking for. And Magic School AI has been trained on educational materials. So it's been trained on standards and lesson plans and curricula and policy documents and emails and professional development plans and IEPs and all the things that we make and use and read and write in educational institutions is the text that Magic School has been trained on. And for that reason, the output from a prompt is going to be better tailored to our needs than you would get from a general purpose AI tool that is trained on everything in the world, right? And maybe the input that's put into those is maybe more corporate or just different kinds of situations and isn't as tailored to our needs. So I feel like it is more specific and can help us more quickly get to the kinds of things we actually want with a little bit less work. It has free and paid versions available, and I'm using the free version. So I think it's very easy to get along with the free version. There are some neat tools and upgrades that you can get by buying a subscription, and it's not a super expensive subscription. I think it's about $100 a year. So if you're interested in that, you can certainly look at it, but you can get a lot of mileage out of the free version. And one of the other things that we'll look at when we get into the tool itself is that it has a huge and growing selection of templates and sort of built-in tools. So the other thing I found with sort of general purpose AI tools like ChatGPT is that it's, sort of a prompt box and you can put anything in there, but you have to think of a thing you want to do with it and write the prompt. But with Magic School, because it has all these templates, you can kind of browse through all of these options and say, oh yeah, I want to use it for that. And it might help spark some ideas for uses that you might not have come up with if the template wasn't already there for you. So I feel like it's more user-friendly in that way and has a lot of easy entrance points for those of us who are new to using these tools and aren't necessarily thinking along the lines of how do I write a prompt that's going to give me the output I want. So I'm going to stop there and see if there are any questions about sort of generally what it is before we get in any. So feel free to raise your hand and we'll call on you, or you can drop a question in the chat if you have anything you'd like to ask about.
Not seeing anything yet, Susan.
Not seeing anything, but I like to give people wait time because sometimes people need a little moment to think and type. I've had that happen a lot of times when I've been in sessions. People move on really quickly, and I'm still in the middle of typing my question, and then I don't even bother hitting enter because they've moved on. So I don't like to rush, but I'm not seeing anything, so I will move ahead. But if that's you and you are in the middle of typing something, please do hit enter and we'll come back to your question. All right, so I'm going to spend a little time talking about some examples at work of things that you might do with AI, things that either I have done, staff members have done, or people I know in our work professional sphere have tried. And one of those is creating a rubric to determine eligibility for receiving a computer through our computer distribution program. So on my staff, I have a digital navigator who helps our students receive laptops. We purchase those and distribute them at low cost to students who are eligible. But this is pretty expensive. And we wanted to make sure that we were distributing the computers equitably to all students, making sure that people were held to the same standards So we wanted to draft a set of eligibility requirements and a rubric for scoring those. And they utilized a rubric generator in an AI tool. I don't think it was Magic School. I think they used Conmigo, which is another similar one aimed at educators. But you could use something in Magic School AI to generate a rubric. And so, explained to the AI tool, this is what we're looking for. This is kind of generally what we want in terms of our eligibility requirements. And the AI tool drafted it and wrote it out in clear language. And then we also used it to edit it into student-friendly language by asking for simplified text. So one of the things that does come clear when you do something complex like this is that output from text or text output from AI tools often needs a little bit of fine tuning. It's great for a first draft, but you might not want to use it exactly as is when it comes out of the generator. But if you are one of those people who often is looking at the document and that cursor that's blinking and you can't think of how to start or even get going with your writing, you can get a first draft very rapidly, and then from there you can tweak it and make it into exactly what you're looking for. So this was a neat project, and I feel like it helped us standardize and come to agreement on exactly what it was we were looking for. And I thought that was a great use of that tool. Another example is images. So in addition to producing text, generative AI can also be used to produce paintings, more or less, right? Or photography. And I'm doing air quotes here because, of course, they're not actual paintings and they're not actual photography. They are generated to look as if they were a photograph or a painting. But I like this idea because a lot of times it is hard to find images that are copyright free and that actually match your needs. And using text image generator, you can create exactly what you need pretty rapidly. And Magic School AI has very recently integrated an image generator from Adobe Express. I sometimes have trouble getting it to launch. I think just because it's super popular, and sometimes it just gets overwhelmed by how many people are clicking the button at a given time. Is sometimes when I click to launch it, the window pops up, but nothing happens. But today it was working for me, so I'm hopeful that it's becoming a little more stable as it gets better integrated. Or maybe a million people aren't clicking it all at once. um and the other tricky thing I noticed with this image generator is, I think because it's a collaboration with Adobe, you do need to allow cookies in your browser. So if you've blocked cookies in your browser, it won't work either. So that's a little tweak that you might have to make in your browser settings. But I have found that when it works really well. This is an image that I generated in about 30 seconds in the AI image generator, and it looks great. And so I think when it's working, which hopefully as it's becomes more stable in time, it could be a really great tool for you to make pictures for illustrating slide decks or handouts or things like that, when you don't have to go browse through pages and pages of Google image search. You can just type in what you want and get it. So I quite like it. Thanks. It is pretty cool, isn't it, Betsy? So we'll look at that one when we get to the get into the tool and try some things out. Another one that they have actually a template for in Magic School AI is drafting a response to an email message. So sometimes people email you things and it's hard to come up with the right words to respond. And if you are a person who struggles with that, um, like my husband does, for example, he has a hard time expressing himself in writing. He's very thoughtful and he wants to get it just right. And he might work and work and work at a message to try and get exactly what he wants to say across. A tool like AI can help you do that. You tell it the idea that you want to express and the emotion that you want to express, and it will help you come up with the right words and the right phrasing. And there's a template right in Magic School to do that. So I know sometimes we need to deal with challenging issues in the ABE office, and maybe this tool can help you draft that email that um, you might find challenging to do. Another one is translation. Of course, we work with multilingual audiences, and of course, many of us are using tools like Google Translate, and Magic School has a very similar kind of translation tool in the platform. It says it will translate into any language. That is its term. Now, I have not tested this. I don't know if that's actually 100% true, like really any language. That seems pretty amazing, but it is what it says. And it will either do text you can just type, or you can upload a document. You can also do speech to text. So you can turn on, there's a little microphone right within the translation tool, and you can speak into it and it will translate it for you. And I know Google Translate tools have that too, where, if you've got a student with you and you are having trouble understanding them, they can speak and it'll translate it for you. Magic School can also do that. One of the nice things I like about Magic School is that you can pretty easily copy that translated text to then use in other documents. And if you are doing a lot of work in the platform, you can then move, that text between different tools within the platform too. So it might be nice to kind of keep everything in one place. So something to definitely take a look at. And then proofreading is another one that many people need to do, and I'm one of them. If you are like me, when you write something and you're looking at it on a screen, it is very easy to miss small mistakes because you're too close to it. And I often have to print things out and read them on paper in order to catch my small errors. I'll not notice that there isn't a verb in a sentence, or that I've used to have in a sentence or something. You would think I would notice these things, but I don't always until I actually look at it on paper. And generative AI is really, really good at the rules of language and can catch and correct small errors very quickly and accurately. And you can just copy paste your text into the tool and it'll proofread it for you. So not everything needs that level of accuracy, but if you're producing your 5-year narrative, or you are putting something on your school website, or you're making a flyer and you want to make sure it's right, it can help you do that proofreading really quickly and accurately. So those are some ideas that I have had, and some of them I just generated by looking at the templates in Magic School. This is a screenshot of some of the different templates that are available in there. And in a minute, we're going to pop over there and try out a few of them. But before we do that, I would like to take a little time to do some brainstorming. So we're going to use the chat. And I've given you about 5 or 6 different ideas of things you might do with Magic School AI. And I'd like you to generate some additional ideas. So we're going to take just a few minutes and post in the chat some things that you could make with AI tools. Um, or ways that you could try some of these tools in your program. So things that I've mentioned, how might that be helpful to you? Or things you would love to be able to do and you want to see if it can do it. So please post an idea in the chat. Hey, don't everybody go at once. Oh, data visuals. I haven't looked for that, but that's something we could definitely look for, Cindy. Decision trees, ooh, and flow charts and things like that. Haven't looked for that one. Definitely could look for that. Mm-hmm. Making worksheets, yes. Yes. So I've been talking about Office uses because it's the support services conference, but Magic School AI has tons of templates for teachers to create teaching materials. So if you have dual roles in your program and you're also a teacher, you're going to find tons of things in there that will be valuable to you as a teacher. Email templates for new students. Yes. Okay. Instructions. Yes, there's actually a tool, a template tool specifically for editing and clarifying directions for things. We could take a look at that one. A document that can visually describe each of our cultural barriers. Cindy, do you want to say a little bit more about what you mean by that? I'm curious. Are you thinking about like at intake on the intake form, the different questions we need to ask about like, are you a displaced homemaker or right, yes. Are you unemployed? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Maybe you could make some with AI images. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm having a small technical issue today with my laptop in that I think the power cord uh jack is getting really loose and it keep losing power and drawing on my battery instead, and I'm a little bit worried about it. So I apologize if I'm over here wiggling on the cord. Stacy says, I love proofreading. Yeah, no kidding. It's not my area of expertise. So I'm excited about the idea of having a tool that can do it for me. All right, anybody else? Last chance, last call for brainstorming. All right, well, in that case, I am going to jump on over to the platform. So can everybody see, we are now in Magic School AI in my browser. Can everybody see that okay? Or are you still seeing the slides? Just want to
Oh, I
make
see
sure.
it.
Okay, good.
Do you want me to
Sometimes
drop the link to this, Susan, or not yet?
not quite yet, but in
Okay.
about 5 minutes. So here we are. I'm logged in already. So if you haven't set up an account yet, you'll need to set up an account when Patsy puts that link in the chat. And then when you log in, you're going to land on this page that says Magic Tools. And once you've been using Magic School AI for a little while, what you'll notice is that you can favorite certain tools so that they're always up here at the top for you. And that's because there's so many that otherwise you're never going to find them just by browsing through. There are so many different tools in here that searching for them is, I think, an effective way to find what you're looking for, or using that favorites system to make sure that they're up at the top where you're handy for you. So some folks had talked about emails. There is a custom email responder tool here. So you can put in your name, you can put in the email you're responding to, and you can either copy paste the text or you can put like upload a document. And then here you're going to say what you're trying to communicate. So are you trying to say, yeah, that looks good? Or are you trying to say, let's set up a meeting? Or you're saying, I don't understand what the issue is here. Please tell me more about that. So how do you want to structure your response? And then you're going to hit generate, and that is going to give you a text below that that you can then copy paste and use. Let's see, other ones that people, yeah, we talked about translator. So I'll show you that one. The same thing here. You can choose your language. You can paste the text or click on the little microphone to record audio, or you can upload a document and then generate your text there. Another thing that you can do on a lot of these tools is get exemplars. So I'll just click on this one here, and you'll get an example of what you can generate, right? So here's an original text, and here's the text down below translated into Spanish. And when you get the output from one of these tools, you can do some different things with it. You can just copy it, right? To put it wherever you need it to go. You can edit it. So like I said earlier, sometimes the output from tools isn't exactly the phrasing you want, or you want to clean it up a little bit. So it's nice to be able to just hit edit and go in there and make your tweaks. You can read it aloud. And the other really valuable thing to do to help train the AI is give it feedback. Yes, this was what I was looking for, or no, it's not. Like there's errors, or it wasn't the kind of response I was looking for. Because the more of that kind of feedback we give the tool, the better the results are in the future. So just keep that in mind as you're looking at these different text responses to if it really worked and it gave you what you wanted, make sure to hit that thumbs up, because that's going to help make the tool even better in the future. Here's that text proofreader tool. Again, you can just copy paste, or you can upload your document. If you're in here working and you just dabble around a little bit and then you're like, no, I want to start fresh, there's clear inputs at the top. Just clear it all out and start over fresh. And then I did want to look at the image generator because it is working for me today. So hopefully it'll continue working for us. And we can just hit text to image here. And it's working beautifully today, pops right up. So what you do is you just go in here and type in what you'd like to see an image of. So Patsy, what would you like to see an image of? I'm going to ask you.
Oh my goodness. Let's see an image of a chicken reading.
A chicken reading a book or a magazine? Or
Book.
all right, and then what style would you like? We can look at different kinds of techniques or themes or material.
Gosh, how about
Origami.
origami? Yeah.
And we'll hit generate. And we'll give it a minute or two. And there we are. Chickens reading books.
That look like origami.
That
It
look
looks
like
like more
origami.
of a rooster.
Kind of more of a rooster. So then you might say a hen.
Oh, good point.
And we could try generate. So sometimes you need to tweak your prompts a little bit to get exact.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be judgy about it, but
But then again, that's where that thumbs up, thumbs down. So see, these
oh,
are kind of roostery. I don't
kind
know.
of roostery. It's still clearly of the chicken family, so yeah,
Yes,
I'm good.
yes. But again, that might be where the thumbs up, thumbs down comes in. And when you rate them, you can actually say what was the rating based on. So you can help train it to be more accurate in future. So that's just a sample of some of the tools that are in here. And I know we're already at 2:30 and we only have until 2:45, and I want to give everybody some time to try it. So we're going to do that now. Patsy, you want to put that link in the chat? It looks like you already did, and have everybody go over there, sign up for a free account, or you can do like I do and just log in with your Google account if you're comfortable with the single sign-on. And then I would like you to pick one of the tools or ideas that we generated in our brainstorm and give it a try. I'm going to go off camera so everybody can have a few minutes. And I'll be here though, if you have any questions or you have trouble finding a template that will help you do the thing you want to do and you would like some coaching, please drop that in the chat or raise your hand and we'll call on you and we'll see if we can get you some help. So let's take 6 minutes and try one of them out. And Patsy, maybe we should pause the recording while people are doing their hands-on time, because otherwise it's going to be,
Yeah.
yes. Thanks for starting that recording again, Patsy. I was just thinking about, we're here in the teacher's interface, but there's also a student interface, and you can launch activities directly to students. So tools like this can also be a really powerful tool for our students to learn how to use, because writing professional emails is more challenging in your second language than it is in your first, right? So if we're working with folks who need to do that sort of thing, a tool like this could help them draft emails and things like that in a way that we can't provide that support all the time, right? But the tool is there anytime they might want to use it. So it's a thought I've had about how can we help our students utilize tools like this in their home lives and work lives as well. So another thing to keep in mind. All right. And Jason tried multiple explanations. I'm not familiar with that one. I'll have to take a look at that. So I hope you had fun exploring a little bit. Obviously, just had a tiny sample, but hopefully you'll take this back to your program and try out some more things when you get back. Before we wrap up the session, I did want to take a look at a couple of resources, and these are in the slide deck, and the slide deck will be in the folder for participants for the conference. And there's several things here that you might want to take a look at. This Gen AI Resources for Educators was put together by the EdTech Center at World Education, and they support adult educators around the country. And they've got a lot of really great resources in there. Teach AI is a resource specifically thinking about at school districts around how do we integrate this kind of technology into our schools and what are the policy implications and things like that. So if you are in a management role and policy is something that you want to take a look at for your program or your school district, Teach AI is something you might want to check out. But then probably the most practical one here is this very first one called the Open Prompt book. And that is also a resource from the EdTech Center at World Education. And I really like the book. I've got it downloaded here. It's created by participants from adult ed programs around the state or around the country at a project they called Camp GPT. And they created potential examples of things you might do, and highlighted some of the pitfalls and showed some of the examples, and this is what worked and this is what didn't work. And so it's a really great read. It's beautifully designed. And it gives a good broad perspective of a lot of different uses for AI and what's working for people, what's not working for people. So I strongly recommend taking a look at this and just reading through this guide and passing it along to other educators who might benefit from it. All right. And with that, I am going to take the last 3 minutes we have to take any questions that you might have about Magic School or about a generative AI in general. I mean, I'm not the world's greatest expert, but I have been playing around with it now for a couple of years, and I'm becoming more proficient all the time. So I'm happy to take your questions and see if we can help you find an answer.
We just had one comment, maybe you already spoke to this, that the image generator doesn't seem to work on the Safari browser. Just a
Oh,
heads up.
that is good to know. I don't have a Mac, so I've never tried it, but it's good to know. I've used it in both Edge and Chrome, and it has worked for me there. When it's working great in both of them. But good to know. Any questions I can answer for you? Not seeing any, so I think we can probably turn the recording off and send everybody off on their weekend.
A little too sunny out for questions, I think.
It is such a